Time management is a skill that is essential for online learning. Why do we need time management? Well, time management is important because it's the only resource that can't be replenished. Time is also the resource that we have the least of. We only have 24 hours in a day, and on average, we spend about 7 or 8 of that sleeping. Time is split into many different priorities. We have family, work, social, religious priorities, and we have to figure out how to make our online courses fit into that as well. So how do we do time management? Well, we have to prioritize. We have to figure out what's most important and least important and do them in that order. We also have to know that we can't do everything. And for teachers, we find that very difficult because a lot of times we do believe we can do everything. We have to learn how to say no. No can be a very powerful word, but again, it's also a word that as teachers, we have a very difficult time saying because we like to please people and we like to help people. But sometimes we have to say no, especially when we first start teaching online courses. It's very important that we do learn to say no because there are things that you will not be able to do. Avoiding procrastination is very important. Avoiding procrastination helps to keep us up to date in our courses. It helps us to not fall behind in courses because if you do that, it's very, very difficult to catch up. Making an action plan can help. Just writing things down and checking them off as you finish them can be very empowering. And then sticking to that plan. Make sure that when you make a plan, you actually do it. That's 90% of the battle right there. And reviewing and revising the plan. Figure out, just like when you're teaching a lesson, what worked well with your action plan and what didn't, and how can I make it better for the next time. So prioritize. Again, what's the most important task, what's the least important task, and do them. And figure out what are your time constraints. Do you have appointments this evening? Do you have to take kids to soccer practice? Do you have to grocery shop? What is going to stand in your way of doing your online course, and how can I work around that? What are your resource constraints? Is your computer broken? Is your internet connection out? Any of those things can affect the time that you can spend in your online course as well. Knowing that you can't do everything. Number one, you're not Superman. You cannot physically do everything. There are certain things that you're just going to have to learn how to say no to. There are other things in the world besides work, and again, for teachers, that can be very difficult for us to understand because a great deal of our life is wrapped up into teaching. Not every job has to be done by you. If your principal asks you to take on another responsibility and you're a first-time online teacher, then you might have to say no. And you must put yourself first sometimes. Again, as teachers, we find this very difficult to do sometimes because we give so much of ourselves to our students in our profession, and it can be difficult to take time for ourselves, but it's important that you do that. Learning how to say no. Again, no is a very powerful word. It can get us out of a lot of situations that we don't want to be in. We like to please everyone around us, but again, sometimes we just can't. And sometimes you are not the right person for the job. You're going to have to learn how to say no to extra classes, no to extra responsibilities the first time you teach online. So you're going to have to shift your responsibilities around a little bit as you start teaching online and as you start preparing and planning online. Avoiding procrastination. So recognize when you are procrastinating and figure out why are you procrastinating. And like Nike says, just do it. If you find something that needs to be done, just do it, get it done, and get it out of the way, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Making an action plan. The action plan doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be a simple list of tasks in order of importance. Then follow that list and make sure that you follow it. Checking off tasks as they're accomplished can be very empowering. I have a whiteboard in my office, and I'll write things down on that whiteboard that I need to do. And I find it very empowering just to be able to walk over to that whiteboard and cross something out because I know I've finished that. And it can serve as motivation to have that list there as well. Sticking to your plan. Have faith in your plan. You're a smart person. You know how to make plans. You know how to follow through with them. And you know that you've made a good plan, so follow through on it. But be flexible with your plan too. Sometimes plans need to be changed. And take the plan one step at a time. Don't try to eat a whole elephant in one bite. You have to take small bites and get through the whole thing. Slow and steady wins the race. I know it sounds cliche, but again, take one thing at a time, finish it, move on to the next, and before you know it, you're completely done with your list. Review and revise. What went right? What went wrong? And what obstacles did I not account for? This is an important step because sometimes things pop up that you didn't plan for. And then knowing that for the future, you can better plan for those obstacles and hope that they don't happen again. And if they do, you have a way to work around them. And what can you do better next time? We can always improve. Just like when we plan for our teaching, we can always improve for the next time. You can improve your teaching. You can also improve your action plan making. So if you have any questions about time management, please leave those questions in the threaded discussion below.